As of January 2025, the geopolitical landscape is undergoing significant shifts. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, set to assume office once again, and tech magnate Elon Musk are at the forefront of these changes. Their recent actions and statements have prompted varied responses from nations worldwide. This video delves into their influence tactics and the global reactions they have elicited. Donald Trump, known for his assertive political strategies, and Elon Musk, a visionary in the tech industry, have formed an unexpected alliance. Their combined influence, political and technological, has the potential to reshape international relations. The European Union finds itself at a crossroads, facing pressures from both Trump and Musk. Trump's expansionist rhetoric, including suggestions of extending U.S. territories into Greenland and the Panama Canal, has unsettled European leaders. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed unease regarding these statements, emphasizing the importance of respecting international borders. Elon Musk's involvement adds another layer of complexity. His support for far-right parties, such as Germany's Alternative for Germany, AfD, has been met with criticism. Chancellor Scholz labeled Musk's endorsement as completely unacceptable, underscoring the need for political decisions to be made by the electorate, not influenced by external actors. These developments challenge the EU's regulatory frameworks and democratic processes, prompting calls for a unified and firm response to external pressures. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is navigating a delicate situation. Amidst criticisms from Elon Musk, Starmer remains focused on securing a trade deal with the incoming U.S. administration. He emphasized the importance of maintaining a constructive relationship with President-elect Trump, highlighting efforts to prevent punitive tariffs and promote economic stability. This approach reflects the UK's strategic aim to balance its transatlantic relationships while safeguarding national interests. Germany faces direct challenges from both Trump and Musk. Musk's endorsement of the far-right AfD party has sparked domestic controversy. Chancellor Olaf Scholz condemned Musk's interference, stating that Germany's political future should be determined by its citizens, free from external influence. This situation underscores the broader issue of foreign involvement in national politics, raising questions about sovereignty and democratic integrity. Canada, a long-standing ally of the United States, is now grappling with growing tensions related to Donald Trump's proposed policies. Trump's recent rhetoric, including the idea of extending U.S. control over parts of Canadian territory, has raised significant alarms. His statement regarding energy tariffs and potential economic control over Canada has sparked serious concerns about sovereignty. Trump has repeatedly suggested that Canada's energy exports should align more closely with U.S. interests, with talk of imposing tariffs on Canadian oil and gas. The proposed tariffs could damage both the Canadian economy and the U.S.-Canada trade relationship. As the U.S. is Canada's largest trading partner, any significant disruptions in trade could lead to adverse economic effects on both sides. Trump's trade negotiations with Canada also aim to increase U.S. influence over Canada's resource sector, effectively undermining Canadian autonomy. In response, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has emphasized that Canada will remain a sovereign nation, advocating for the protection of Canadian energy resources. Trudeau has called for cooperation, but under conditions that respect Canadian independence. Canada's rejection of Trump's tariffs and any territorial expansion claims is a reaffirmation of the country's commitment to sovereignty and autonomy. Public opinion in Canada is deeply divided. Many Canadians see Trump's actions as attempts to infringe on their nation's sovereignty, especially concerning their resources. This has sparked protests and calls for stronger trade protectionism. However, some sectors, particularly those tied to energy and natural resources, worry that the tariffs could hurt business and economic growth, especially in Alberta, a province highly dependent on oil exports. Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark, has once again entered the geopolitical spotlight due to Trump's recent comments. Trump previously expressed interest in purchasing Greenland in 2019, an offer that was swiftly rejected by Denmark. Now, in January 2025, Trump's comments on the strategic significance of Greenland have resurfaced, particularly due to its vast natural resources and strategic location in the Arctic. These remarks have prompted renewed discussions on the region's political future. Greenland, with its abundant mineral resources and its position as a gateway to the Arctic, has long been a point of interest for world powers, including the U.S. Trump's renewed focus on the island stems from a desire to ensure that the U.S. maintains dominance in the Arctic region, particularly amid increasing competition with China and Russia. In response, Greenland's Prime Minister Mut B. Egede reiterated that Greenland is not for sale. Greenlandic officials, along with Denmark's government, firmly rejected any notion of U.S. territorial acquisition. They emphasized that Greenland's future should be determined by the people of Greenland, not by external powers seeking geopolitical gain. Greenland's rejection of Trump's territorial ideas sparked a renewed emphasis on Greenlandic autonomy. Denmark, which has a historical and political relationship with Greenland, has backed Greenland's stance, stating that any future discussions about the territory's status must involve Greenlandic representatives. This has placed Denmark at odds with the U.S., requiring delicate diplomacy to manage relations between the two nations. Panama has long been a strategic player due to its control over the Panama Canal, a key waterway that facilitates global trade. Trump's comments on reasserting U.S. control over the canal have generated significant backlash, especially in Panama, where the canal is seen as a symbol of sovereignty and national pride. Trump's recent remarks suggested that the U.S. should regain control over the Panama Canal, an idea reminiscent of the pre-1999 era, when the U.S. controlled the canal. This is largely seen as part of Trump's broader America First foreign policy, which aims to ensure U.S. dominance in international trade and economic routes. Trump's claim was framed around the argument that the canal, now under Panamanian control, could be used to benefit the U.S. more directly. In stark contrast, Panamanian President Laurentino Cortizo has strongly rejected Trump's assertion, emphasizing Panama's sovereignty over the canal. Panama's government reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining control over the canal, citing international treaties, particularly the 1999 Panama Canal Treaty, which transferred control from the U.S. to Panama. Cortizo made it clear that any foreign attempts to influence Panama's sovereignty would not be tolerated. The suggestion of U.S. control over the canal has been met with widespread criticism across Latin America. Many countries in the region view this as an infringement on Panama's sovereignty and a step backward for Latin American independence. Leaders across the region have expressed their firm opposition to any potential reassertion of U.S. control, stating that the issue is a matter of national dignity and international law. Global reactions to Trump's proposals highlight the growing tensions between the U.S. and its Latin American neighbors. Latin American nations, while often economically linked to the U.S., have increasingly been vocal about protecting their independence and resisting efforts to reassert U.S. control over historical assets like the Panama Canal. Trump's rhetoric on Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal reflects a broader agenda of reshaping geopolitical relationships in favor of U.S. interests. As we move into 2025, tensions are mounting, with Canada reaffirming its sovereignty, Greenland rejecting any external claims to its land, and Panama standing firm on control over the canal. These nations are not only asserting their territorial rights, but also sending a clear message that any attempts to undermine their autonomy will face resistance. The coming months will be critical in shaping U.S. foreign policy under the renewed leadership of Donald Trump, as he seeks to navigate the complex web of international relations while leveraging economic and territorial claims for national gain. The world is watching closely. How these tensions evolve will determine the next phase of global diplomacy and the future of international alliances. Stay tuned.